Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me as always over there is my man and yours, producer Juice. He likes to go by the Truth Box out there on the World Wide Web. So my man, Truth Box, what is going on today, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, doing awesome. Doing great.
You look kind of snazzy with that, whatever, that pullover. It's cold up there nowadays.
Ooh, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing. Yeah, fall weather here in New England, my man. It's been great. Doing some good stuff. Enjoying this nice Monday holiday. We're recording on an off day for you guys.
Yeah, what is that?
Good.
Happy Columbus Day to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. Great, man. Discovered the new world. Brought, civility here to the States. Ended cannibalism. Child sacrifice. Well, I guess that's not over. So, yeah, it's good stuff. We like Christopher Columbus around here.
I saw a thing today from the VP or, candidate to become the next president of the United States.
Yeah.
So it was great. You like to see her finally honoring a holiday, doing the right thing.
I like it.
Kick things off with that quickly.
All right, let's see what she had to say about the nice federal holiday today.
All right, here we go. Kamala.
Honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth about our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past, and we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today.
There she is.
Oh,
While we're here,
boy.
though, shout out to the Muckleshoot, the Shishwami, the Shooswami. Remember this?
Yeah.
When they do those land dedications.
The Muckleshoot was the best.
And
boy.
Like acting like, people conquer people. That shit happens. And
Absolutely.
to act like these people were just all living in harmony. They were battling each other and stuff. Did we do them wrong? People have been done wrong all throughout history. But to act like these people were just rainbows overhead and, they were fighting each other for lands and
all
this
day.
and that.
Yep. It's crazy. Revisionist history is a scary thing, I guess, huh? All right. Well, more and more these days, I find myself thinking about what makes a man, Juice. Now, I know that it's 2024, so you're probably tempted to give me a Matt Walsh type of an answer here. A man is an adult human that has XY chromosomes and a standard issued Franken beans. What I'm talking about are the type of qualities that make up a real man. What kind of actions should men in our society be taking? The reason I keep thinking about this is because it's obvious that the election is about masculinity versus femininity. Kamala Harris and her team are leaning hard into the pro-abortion. A man's not a man unless he supports your ability to work and bring home the bacon here in this new world we're in. While Donald Trump is just a badass that naturally attracts a man's man. Kamala Harris's team continues to prop up men like Doug Emhoff and Tim Walz as the new representation of masculinity. At the same time, they try and point to a man like J.D. Vance, who exudes masculinity, as somehow weird. I could think of plenty of examples of what represents masculinity. You know, things like medium rare steaks, physical sports, never having to stop to ask for directions. You know, you get the idea. Now, why don't we shift for a moment, I guess, from the old tongue-in-cheek and focus a little bit more on some of the qualities that I think we can all agree are what make up a good man, a solid man. Now, he should be a man of honor and a hard worker. How about a protector and a provider? A good masculine man is a leader, someone who is reliable and who is dependable. All of those things are true, but what I'm realizing, and it's something I'm realizing 39 years late to the game here, is that a real man, a masculine man, is a man of God. Those qualities that I listed are all branches that must be hanging on a tree of a man who is rooted in God. You should be able to trust a man of God to be honorable, hardworking, reliable, and a leader. A man of God is going to be able to set that example on a daily basis for his family to see. A man who knows God is going to share that with his wife and kids and help form the most important bond in all of their lives. I truly believe that building, forming, and growing your relationship with God is a lifelong pursuit of turning yourself into a real life version of Jesus Christ. I don't mean that in a ye shall be of God's way. What I mean is we have been created in the image and likeness of God. And I think it is our mission to orient ourselves and our lives in a manner that is as close to living as Jesus lived as we can. My daughter is only 9 years old, so I'm a little early here, but I can't help but find myself thinking about the type of man I hope she will one day marry. The kind of man I would be honored to give her away to. The thought of handing her over to the type of man that doesn't go to church, that doesn't know God, is something that terrifies me. I know that might sound extreme, and I'm sure it sounds hypocritical, but it's true. Masculinity continues to be misrepresented by playboys like Andrew Tate and Dave Portnoy, action stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Rock, or goofy sitcom dads like Kevin James, Ray Romano, Homer Simpson, and Tim Walz. I'm hoping and praying that I can continue to grow my masculinity through God and with God. With his help, the rest of my family will also be able to recognize, emulate, and seek masculinity as they continue to grow in God's image. And with that being said, I do believe it's time to welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because it is showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime!
Kevin James and Tim Walz.
Now, as I was prepping that, I'm realizing just how bad my pop culture references are these days. I'm going back to sitcom guys from the 90s.
Homer Simpson and
couldn't. Well, I guess Homer's still new, right? They still make new episodes of that.
Unfortunately.
But, yeah. I know it's a good, isn't it? It doesn't still hold out?
No.
I went back and started watching from season 1, episode 1 recently, and I kind of forgot that as edgy as it could be at times, and like people think of it as like a punk show, like whatever, Bart's a punk and Homer's choking him, that stuff, like kind of had some good teachable moments throughout it too. It always had like a little spin on do the right thing. You
Bart
know,
steals
I don't know.
the video game, remember, and they have to go get pitches.
I don't know if I got that one or not, but you get the gist of what I mean. It was
dude, your lighting looks nice.
Surprised.
You do something new? Trying to
Amazon Day coming to the household here. Got a couple of things. I'm sitting here, I'm like sweating under these lights right now. I got like 6 lights beaming on me. It's crazy. And it's still not perfect. I still feel like I'm kind of in the shadows.
How am I looking here? I know I'm in the shadows with the hat, but
dude, yours is money.
All right. It's just the yellow wall.
Just a yellow wall, folks. All
All
right.
right.
So let's
it
jump
off.
into things here, Juice. As I was just touching on, this is definitely a masculinity versus femininity election. It's just plain and simple. Kamala is leaning hard into the woman vote. She thinks that's going to bring her victory. She's just doubling down on it. And like I said, kind of Trump is he's a masculine guy. I think men gravitate to him anyways. So it's really boiling down to that. And to me, it's Kamala and her team are just insulting men these days. They've got like the girly men of the groups, like right. They got those dudes. They got them locked up. No worries there. If you got him in your email, like you're on Team Kamala already. They need to reach like the middle of the road guys who might not be super Trump oriented, but they're not driving around in a Prius either. I don't know, but they can't because they don't know how to relate to a guy. They don't know how to relate to any men. And the fact that they're propping up Emhoff in Walls as the guys that are going to relate to them, Coach Walls, like, right? They think that who's going pheasant hunting, he doesn't know how to load his shotgun. In Doug, it's just those guys
Dancing
are
Doug,
able to
I
get
call
to.
him. Remember the dancing?
Oh yeah, handsome Doug.
Handsome dancing Doug.
Dancing Doug. That's the dude from the Simpsons, right? Disco Doug? No, way off.
Disco Stew.
Oh, okay. All right.
Disco Stew. Yeah, well,
I'm way off with it.
Yeah, you got to watch
okay.
a couple more episodes.
Maybe. So those dudes, though, they appeal to female voters. They're using them thinking that they're going to attract male voters, but they don't. They don't at all. What they do is they turn off guys that would be on the fence. And this little clip that we got here from Juice's old favorite press secretary, Jen Psaki, he was on her show, and that's what listen to what she calls him. She literally tries to prop him up as the new man out there. So, Juice, you want to give it to us?
Yeah, let's see what they said.
Important part, an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the
as first gentleman, imagine.
Yeah, that's the only pair of pants he ever wears is when she tells him to. Right?
Exactly.
He's like, I've just always been like this, dude. I've just exuded masculinity at all times. Like,
oh yeah,
see, you know?
Oh yeah, yep. Been drinking white wine my whole life. I drive in the back seat while she drives. We go to see we see rom-coms all the time, all of it. I'm a great party guest. I can mingle with the best of them, Juice. That's what Doug brings.
You need a refill? That no, he's doing the refills while she's working the room. Like,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, true.
Can I get you anything? Oh, jackets go in the closet. Jackets go in the master bedroom to the left.
Yep.
I'm Doug if you need anything.
If you need call me Doug. But you hear all the stuff that's coming out about Mr. Masculinity these days?
About Doug?
Yeah, Doug. We already knew that he had an affair with the nanny, and that's the reason he was divorced with his first wife, or from his first wife. That gets touched on and completely forgotten. There may or may not have been an abortion that took place there too. That part I'm not certain, but he definitely had an affair with the nanny. That's why I got divorced. Masculine man there. And this latest thing that came out was ex. I
heard the nanny was a tranny.
Oh, I did not hear that part. Now, the other thing that came out was a former girlfriend saying that he slapped her in public because he thought she was flirting with the valet in France outside of the Cannes Film Festival, whatever that is. Nothing screams masculinity like beating your girl around, knocking her around, slapping her upside the head. Like, is that the new masculinity to the Democrats in 2024 here? I don't know, Juice. Does that seem like something?
Men for Harris.
Men for Harris, exactly. You think that's something a man of God would find himself doing? You know, cheating on his spouse, coveting his neighbor's wife, breaking his marriage vows, slapping around a female. Doesn't really sound very masculine to me. Yet this guy's propped up as the new masculinity from the left. It's disgusting. And we I didn't bother with we got a lot of clips, so I will try to make this
A
concise
lot coming
to keep us.
out about walls too.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know how much of it is, this is for entertainment purposes. You see this nowadays. This is for entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah.
Purposes only. Blah blah. Like he was like having like an underage student, like an affair with a underage student.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, thought that's where you were going with
boy.
this. But...
No, not even with him right now. It was more so with like Emhoff and this stuff and where they're going with it. What was it? He was on like a mainstream media show, Joe Scarborough, and there was a clip of him being asked like the way the question was framed wasn't even like, oh, did you impregnate the nanny and then get a divorce and have you slapped around one of your exes in public? It was like, oh, can you believe Trump and the Republicans are trying to sling mud and throw stuff at you? Like, like he framed it like that. And then Doug never denied the allegations, never said anything about it, and just said, they're just trying to distract us. We're focused on winning an election here. It was a joke. And that was like a glaring omission of him not like, well, the claims are just outright wrong, false, and ridiculous. And they're trying to just muddy up the waters, like blah, 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 crazy. So, all right, let's keep this thing tight. We're handling the masculinity, femininity thing. Now let's kind of slide into the change candidate, which is what Kamala is trying to pitch herself as. And we've said this the whole time, that she's trying to promote herself as a change, yet also trying to reap the benefits of being the vice president and someone who, has already had power and can be trusted with power. So this is, Kamala presenting herself as a change candidate when she first came up and mentioned this during the one and only debate against Donald Trump. She tried to separate herself from her boss. Juice, you got that?
Every single policy. And remember this, she is Biden. She's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman. She says, she is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad. And she can't get away with that.
Thank you. Your time is up.
I want to respond to that, though. I want to just respond briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country, one who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the American people.
That was bad, right, Juice? Like, never mind what she even said. How about the voice change there as she shifted? That was like, oh, cringy, man. Instead of disparaging, what we can do.
I'm speaking before. I want to say this before. I meant to say it in the last segment about Doug stuff.
Yeah,
you seen the show Veep before with?
Oh yeah.
Elaine Venice or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, he's that guy who's like, oh, you need hand sanitizer?
Oh, Gary, the bag man.
The Veep, awesome. Right?
Yeah, that's great.
Doug. That's Doug.
That's a great call.
And yeah, that was ridiculous. You seen this on Saturday Night Live this week or whatever? Like, one, too little, too late. Don't try to, now that the tides are turning, when you're not going to save face and be like, oh, we were making fun of both candidates. Screw off. Don't want your help.
Not at all.
But this, I don't know what the lady's name is, but she's like, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Have you seen those clips from SNL this past week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, I did see a few of those things going by. The better one though was you got to look up the Gutfeld one.
I
He
saw
had
that
the
when
girl, dude, that lady does Kamala way better too. And then they had the dude from Lady Ballers in there, that guy doing the Trump or whatever. I forget what his name is, but that was awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. And Gutfeld just in the middle of them. And
yeah, asking the questions. It was great. But before we keep going on this, I just have to recognize the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed to the show yet, subscribe for the fact that Juice just said, I'm speaking here, and went back to a thought. He dropped the I'm speaking bit on us. That was classic. So please subscribe to the Right and Wrong YouTube page and our Rumble page, Apple, Spotify, wherever you can get your podcast. We need to get those numbers up. So good job there, buddy. All right, let's keep this thing tight and moving. This is where Joe Biden clearly hates Kamala Harris. The Biden team and the Harris team hate each other, and it's awesome to watch. Jill Biden has hated Kamala since the day she called him a racist back in the primary for 2020, whatever that was, 2019 maybe at the time. But it's just so fun to see. So she's trying to distance herself from Biden, as we showed you in the clip there in the Trump debate. And then Biden keeps coming along to do things like this, linking her to him every chance he gets. So, Juice, you want to give us this one?
As vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy. Look, the one thing we have in common, she and I, two basic things that are different, departed from some Democrats.
He can barely even get through that.
I know you only called for like 10 seconds of that 17, but I'm like, there was like 10 more of him stumbling around.
It's incredible, right? So he's right there. Hasn't been a thing I've done that she can't do, right? He's all over it. And I think we jumped.
Was that the one where he says this? Oh, yes. All right.
No.
Yeah,
so we have another one too. So it's fine because they were both Bidens, and that's the picture we're painting for these guys out there watching us right now. Is this man?
Yeah, I was gonna say the
trying
song sheet bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's trying to run away from him. I'm clearly not Joe Biden, and he's trying to bring her back in and say, "Oh yes, you are. You have no
every bit of Biden.
Yeah. You are an empty suit that is just the face of the Democratic machine right now. That's it. You're a puppet out there, just like he was, and you're not running away from that. So this is the other one that he did. Juice, you want to give that one?
There have obviously been a number of crises that the country has been facing over the past several days, with the hurricane, with the port strike, with the situation in the Middle East. Can you talk about how your vice president, who is running for the presidency, has worked on these crises and what role she has played over the past several days?
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She was a major player in everything we've done, including passage of legislation which we were told we could never pass. And so she's been, and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're doing.
Boom. Roasted. Right?
Doc Brandenborough.
Mm-hmm. Singing from the same song sheet, baby. Everything you guys hate about Bidenomics right now, your eggs, your milk, your terrible internet that's supposed to be going around all over rural America.
I'm excited for the I want him to ramp this up.
Oh, great.
The next 20 days, whatever it is. Isn't it like something
watch out
crazy like
when
that?
they lose? Yeah. Once they lose, man, that what is it, from November till they hand over in January?
Mid-January. Yeah.
Oh boy, it's gonna be bad. So she went on The View. That was Biden. We showed Biden.
Want to do it? It's only 10 seconds. Want to see what he says on The View? Refresh the memory.
Yeah, let's do it because she went to The View after him.
Yeah, I'll press him again real quick.
As vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy. Look.
All right, you heard that? Foreign policy, domestic policy, everything. She can do it. And this is what she
her on foreign policy, probably great.
Yep, exactly.
Here we go. Kamala on The View.
Yep.
Here we go.
Presidency. Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Yeah.
The work that we have done, for example, capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors is something
Juice, he said foreign policy was something he mentioned before there. She's involved with all of it. She wouldn't change a thing of it. 13 American soldiers died when they pulled out of Afghanistan in one of the most embarrassing displays. You saw all those images, people hanging on the sides of planes trying to get out of there. You wouldn't have changed anything about that, Kamala? What about Ukraine getting invaded by Russia after her boss, Joe Biden, and apparently her, because she had everything to do with it, said, oh, if it's a small incursion, we won't do anything about it. What about that? Huh? Like, absolutely crazy. And she's not quick enough on her feet. She's not used to being asked a question that she doesn't have scripted ready ahead of time. And she just can't, well, if I say I would change things, I'm going to look like I'm abandoning him. If I don't say anything, then maybe, I'm going to look like I look right now, like an idiot. I don't know. She's kind of screwed there, but she should have been prepped and had an answer for something like that. This man won the primary.
Of immigrant parents. I mean,
I grew up in a middle class.
Yeah, middle class family.
But it's like, come on. This guy won the primary. He was in place. You guys shit canned him because he collapsed on stage in front of Trump. Have an answer for why you replaced him and what you're going to do differently. Not just clearly I'm not Joe Biden. Yeah, you're a DEI hire who's a female. Yeah, you're not Joe Biden.
Yeah, you lost to Joe Biden.
What makes you yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. What makes you different from that man? What's your vision going to be? What are you going to bring to the table that he didn't? Oh my goodness. Crazy stuff. All right. So that's where we went from there. Now, how about, we got things going on right now. It seems like the Democrats are basically screwed at the moment because of, the foreign issues going on with Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, like in that's bad for the Democrats because they got all these crazy leftists on college campuses that aren't okay with that. So they've had to deal with that. And then natural disaster, like the hurricanes that have been hitting, Milton and Helene. And Kamala Harris decides to grandstand and try to inflate her importance in the significance of the vice president. When you think about the significance of a vice president during a hurricane and how significant it is that she wasn't,
unburdened by
the governor of Florida. So she went on the tarmac trying to throw shade at DeSantis for, not being prepared, I guess, is the way she was trying to go after him about hurricanes in Florida. So, Juice, you want to give us this one?
President, Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
Moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Put the people first, Juice? Come on, Kamala.
This lady's the worst.
Horrible. She's sitting there grandstanding, trying to throw shade at DeSantis over this. The guy's handled natural disasters better than any governor in the country over the last, 4+ years. The guy is brilliant when it comes to that. That is probably his best quality. He knows what he's talking about. He gets prepared and he gets things fixed and back up and running faster than anyone I've ever seen. Like, it's incredible.
I think we have a note on it in a minute, but like VP doesn't coordinate that, do they?
No,
like on it?
No, not at all. What's her role? What is her role?
Ignoring her calls. Yeah. What do you're only calling to say you called.
Exactly.
I wish there was video of him like swiping to like,
like
decline it.
looking. Yeah, mute. Mute.
Like while he's like out there in the rain slicker getting shit done.
Exactly.
Like, whatever Kamala's calling. As he's like moving
Now,
a barricade or something.
talk about SNL skits. That would be one you should do. Like, oh, just keep hitting.
Kamala's calling again, decline.
Yeah. All right. So she right there to me, that's like shots fired. She's sitting there. Don't poke the bear, Juice, right? You don't want to get into this game with DeSantis because that's like his wheelhouse. And I think he responded perfectly to it. So, Juice, you want to give us his response?
And laser focus on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
By trying to blunder into this.
You said that like twice, right? You got caught up one time, the blundering around.
Yeah, it's great. Because it's like, what is she going to do? And I love that he was able to be like...
Can you tell the press that I called you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You were around for a
I know you haven't been answering, so I'm texting you, but will you tell them that I attempted to call you?
Yeah. Remember those videos we put out with like TikTokers and influencers and of me calling them and saying, hey, girl, it's me, Kamala. We got to go do this thing. Can we do one of those videos about hurricane preparedness with you, Governor DeSantis? Are you down for that? He's buzz off. I don't got time for this. And I love how he's able to be like, listen, I worked with Trump and with Biden on this. And not once have I received a phone call from the vice president. And now all of a sudden she wants to call. It'd be one thing if she called every time something like this happened, if she showed up, whatever, offered support.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, then keep that if that's going. But if she never did, like, how can it not be politicized? If every other one you didn't have a campaign, but now you.
Yep.
This isn't the first hurricane.
That's who she is. Like, she, from everything that you hear in whatever the talk is, that remember when we talked about in the past that she burned through staff, like, you know, turnover was huge, and people would be frustrated because she wouldn't prepare. They said they'd give her all the information, give her a bunch of stuff to read, and she wouldn't be able to get herself prepped. She wouldn't be able to actually read the material. You know, it seems like a lot of work. Like, honest to God, Juice, this show we do this show once a week and it's difficult to prepare for it. It really is sometimes. Like, it's a slog. Like, there are times where it's like, okay, I gotta, you know, read this thing or watch a couple of these clips, like, and go through them and jot down. Yeah, I gotta jot down the ideas that I have and things that we want to touch on and stuff. And and that's like peanuts. That's small potatoes. I'm bringing that up because it's like ultimately it's not that big of a deal, and it's still a little bit of like a hassle, and it takes energy, it takes effort, while still raising a family, going to work your regular job, like all this stuff. And she's doing 10 times more important, should be important things as the vice president of the United States. And she can't be bothered with reading a briefing from the people that give it to her. She can't be bothered with learning about the things she's about to go speak about. And that's like, that shows with something like this. It's like, okay, you couldn't be bothered. You couldn't be hassled with helping with disaster relief for the last 4 years. But now that you think it might help you in your presidential bid, now all of a sudden, 3.5 years late, you want to throw yourself into it and act like you could help in some way, or, you know, get resources, make phone calls for people. No, it doesn't work that way. You
Good,
gotta
I could send Doug down there to move a couple of logs for you. When we send Doug and a couple of buddies,
yeah,
Mr. Masculine.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, you'd see Doug would show up with like one of those lumberjack shirts that looks like it's like still got the tag on it or something.
Yeah. The gloves that don't have a spot of dirt on.
Yeah,
it.
not a thing
a
on
hard
them.
hat that doesn't. You know, you got to scratch it up a little
You're like,
bit.
all right, I'm here. Crazy. So that's just that just shows you who she is. You know what I mean? Like that just speaks to everything that is her. And to throw the icing on the cake here, to top this thing off, again, Doc Brandon came in hard at the end of this whole thing, and once again put her in her place in his attempt to secretly undermine her campaign. Juice, you want to hear what Biden had to say to this whole DeSantis, prep thing?
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to
do. Dude, that's like...
He's like, oh, we've been texting, we're even like thinking of starting up a fantasy football thing. You can't get a pick up on the phone.
Oh, it's incredible. He's sitting there like,
I gave him the personal phone.
He's like, you're sitting there trying to call the White House. She's taking that place over already. Doug came in, slapped around my wife a little bit. And
hit me on the cell. We'll get this done. I know I'm not like forgiving Biden.
I'm done with that place. I'm on the beach, and be either on the beach or at Camp David, one of those two places. Hit me up on the cell. We'll throw a FaceTime out there, whatever. But
it's funny, but I'm not giving him a pass for all the other bullshit. But
no, he's horrible.
But this is kind of great. Them butting heads in the public.
I am on board to watch that, man. All day.
This thing
it's
just
incredible.
Dumpster fire.
It really is, and he just does not care. That's the risk that they took by doing this. It's like, okay, they convinced him to step aside, you know what I mean? But the guy's on his deathbed, basically.
Yeah.
You know everything about old people are like,
they stop.
They say whatever they want.
Like, sorry, can't help it.
Yeah, can't change them.
Like his political career is over, and he doesn't have that many years left on in real life.
No, and
don't
ultimately
wish anything bad on him, but he's not in great shape. We've seen it.
And if she loses, that makes him look better historically. Like, shouldn't have pushed me out. I'm the only one who was able to beat Trump.
Yeah.
Like
50 years in politics, they nudged me out, and now now there's never an election again.
Experience. Like, there's never going to be an election again. Crazy. All right. So you guys get the idea. That's where they're going with all this stuff, and it's insane. So before we move on, this thing is super tight tonight. I love it.
Very tight.
Holiday tightness.
I could go off
you.
on this. Come on, man, for about 20 minutes, but
yeah, I probably could too. So we'll be good on this one, Juice. You can play the role of Kamala on this. Come on, man. I'll dug it and kind of stick to the side if you want.
We'll say,
it seems like
right. No,
I love it.
We'll both riff on it. It's funny.
All right, perfect. Well, before we slide over to it, please don't forget to what, Juice?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe at all. Ding that bell.
Leave a comment. Put notifications on.
Would be nice to get some more comments in there, folks. Get a comment in there here and there. One person I know. Yeah, somebody I know asks for a comment, and you can't get them to stop talking about butter cakes. But we do nearly 100 episodes and can't get any comments from anybody on here. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about there. I'll hit him with one when I get one.
Yes, exactly. I like that. Well done, brother. All right, so let's move on to our always fun.
What?
Before I do that, we're sitting here asking people to help us, follow us, yet insulting them the whole way.
Yeah, I'll do that when you do it to me, you shit breather. Like and subscribe, or else we'll send Doug after you. We'll send Doug to your door. Doug door to door.
Oh, it's great. All right, so let's move on to one of our favorite segments, Juice. This is when we find a clip of somebody doing something, saying something so absurd, so ridiculous that even though we're going to make fun of them for a couple of minutes, there's not much else we can say to them except, come on, man. Come on, man. Exactly. So for this one here, we're going to go back to the political ads for you guys. And I think it's on theme with everything we've talked about this episode. Right. It's the masculinity versus femininity election. It truly is. And, it's no surprise with all of this stuff, too, that the type of female voters that Harris attracts and goes after are all ones that are either young or unmarried. It's true. And that's not, obviously that's not everything, but that's a huge percentage of the vote that she's getting.
And shout out to people who want to get married, but
sure,
absolutely. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Because honest to God, I feel like at times I might come across
to people.
Shout out. But I might come across as laying into females too much. And it's not my intent at all. I hope by what I said at the beginning of the show, you understand that I feel like men aren't manly enough either, myself included.
Same. I can't do a full day's labor or something. No way.
No, but I also think that we're products of our environment, same as the females in today's world. And that's the frustration for me, is we've been raised in a world that's discouraged traditional masculinity, and it's encouraged females to become more masculine as opposed to embracing their femininity. And nothing says that more than this clip that we're about to show you. That is an ad for the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz team, and I guess let's give it to the people out there, Juice.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
The floor is yours, my friend.
I mean, I have so many things I could say about that. One, first off, the fat farmer guy. He's not doing that, right?
He's not
At
moving
all.
any hay.
Yeah.
He's not getting on a
You
horse.
can rebuild a carburetor, bro. If you went down to get underneath the car, you're not getting back up. I eat carburetors for breakfast. Well, you eat a lot for breakfast, but not carburetors. And I'm a big boy myself, but I'm not actually. I said right before this that I can't do a full day's labor on a farm or something. Can't do an hour. Dude, that guy. Rumor has it that guy with the hands is still sitting like that.
What was
You know,
that
the guy on the truck.
Yeah, I think he had a
Huh?
lisp too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
And he
pretty
had
sure.
the eyes. He had the crazy eyes.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I will vote for Kamala.
What
you
was that
know.
dance?
I don't know, the eyes. Dude, and speaking of raw dogs and full-throated endorsements, there's a lot of that going on.
Horrible.
So
Horrible. They get the guy
quick thought on
from Canada, the turd boy guy. They're trying to use him, right? With
Yeah.
the beard, the old
dude,
guy.
talk about masculinity. He was ripped up, remember? And he's like, "You're not
Yeah.
gonna be baling hay, just chucking him with the pitchfork." Remember?
Yeah.
You turd boy, you're
Absolutely.
not gonna be coming down here and taking my
Yep.
guns.
Not happening. This guy was their knockoff version of that. They were trying to put him out there. You know that guy lives on the street somewhere in California, and they're like, "Hey, Rummy, come here!" Like, run a comb through that, like, clean him up, put on some denim, and go ahead. Oh, say these
Yeah.
lines, buddy. Like,
Talk
come
about
on.
cats. Do a cat thing. Cats sleep on me every night and piss off. Love
Yeah,
cats.
exactly.
And I love you.
Oh, I cry during Love Actually.
And Goodwill Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting and the Predator. Like, come on. Like, nobody's
After I'm
believing that.
deadlifting 500.
Nobody. Man enough to braid my daughter's hair. Like,
Yeah, like, dude, I'll braid my daughter's hair too. Like,
Yeah.
still vote for Trump.
yes, exactly.
You can do both. Like,
Exactly. What a joke. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not
We're
afraid
not
of women. I
afraid.
beat the shit out of them.
It's insane. But that is like, that's an ad written by women, and it's supposed to entice more women. What man is watching that ad and being like, you know what? I was leaning Trump, but now, the fat cowboy, the lisp guy on the back of the pickup truck, and the
Doug and
raw
the
dog
boys.
and-
Remember Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
in the car, Like,
and the
that's
boys.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Dude,
Yeah,
wild.
because these guys told me I'm fine. I'm gonna give it to them. Now I'm gonna vote for Kamala and Doug. No, not happening.
Fat farmer and
But that's what they literally think that is appealing to men. That's an insult to me. I don't know. Like, and again, I wouldn't consider myself to be a manly man. Like, don't know how to fix anything. I barely know how to like hang something. Like, I need to pay someone to change the oil in my car, but I can mow a lawn, I guess. And it's just, I'm sorry, it's not playing to me. That doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. Not at all. And I suspect it's not really appealing to any man out there that could be on the fence. So, Juice, I don't know. Do you want to give it to them one more time?
yeah, keep an eye on the guy with his we won't do the whole thing, but the hands on the lap. Like, yeah, I
The
can
hands
sit on
on
the back of a pickup truck with
But
my hands
doesn't
on
he
the wall.
remind you? Doesn't he remind you of the moderators from the VP debate? Remember that clip with the lady, like she kept
Oh,
her
yeah.
arm stay like this whole time. He's like,
We
"Stop
want to
moving."
welcome you into
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah. Just do a little bit of it.
Fat Farmer and the Boys. Yeah, Farmer and the Boys.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
I eat carburetors for breakfast.
That's incredible. Incredible. Oh, man. All right, Juice. You got anything to add to those guys?
No, I mean, it speaks for itself.
It really does. So, Kamala Harris, all your fake male voters out there, Doug Emhoff, Tim Walz, all you guys have earned yourselves one big, fat, classic.
Come on, man.
And that's the show for the evening. Thank you all for joining us. Happy Columbus Day out there to everybody. And until next week, thanks
for having me. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
I'm supposed to do something now?
Yep. There it is.
The Right and Wrong Show is produced by Juice. Executive producer, Juice. Audio mixer is Juice. Hair by Skull Shavers. Wardrobe and makeup by Ashley Ruka. Right and Wrong song created by Juice. The Right and Wrong Show is copyright 2022 from Brian Ruka.